Hey y'all, this is Chris with Rockin Farm, and I am getting really tired of not getting content out to y'all. And I think part of the problem is that I try so hard to do what other successful YouTube channels do, and I've decided I just gotta be me. So I was trying really hard to shoot the vineyard video. Y'all have been waiting for the vineyard video. I know that. The reason you haven't gotten the vineyard video is because the vineyard still isn't done. And I can't shoot you the whole video. So what I may do is take all the pieces I do have and put it together and show you where I've gotten so far. But for right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a few things that we've done and where they're headed. This big tree here was growing directly under the power line. And this tree has what is known here in Central Texas as oak wilt. These live oaks are susceptible to the oak wilt, so this tree was kind of in the process of dying anyhow. So what I did is I called the power company, and I knew they weren't going to take the tree all the way down for me, but they cut all of these limbs off for me so that I could cut it down myself. The guy actually called me on the phone and said, "What do you want me to do with it, Chris?" And I said, I want to take the tree down, so if you wouldn't mind getting it down to a point where it is safe for me to do so, I would greatly appreciate it. And they cut it down a good 3 or 4 feet shorter than the telephone line, so now I can very easily take this down. Now, yes, they left me with one heck of a mess, but that's okay, because if I can get my hands on a wood chipper, I'm going to turn all this into mulch, and anything that's too big to wood chip, I will turn into logs that we can just toss into our campfires and stuff. So this is one of my projects, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you all the stuff that I plan on doing, and then once I've actually done it, I'll shoot an entirely separate video and come back and say, hey, do you remember back in that video where I showed you all the stuff I was going to do? Well, now it's done. So this entire tree is going to come down, and all of this stuff is going to get cleaned up. But what I want to do with this tree over here, because I've got kids that are getting to that age where maybe we're going to start having weddings and stuff soon. And we have a pretty enough piece of property, especially in the fall and in the spring, that maybe some of those weddings will take place here. I don't know. I know my oldest daughter, she has a serious boyfriend, and they've been kind of talking about stuff lately. So, you know, if we end up having that wedding here, I want to make sure stuff looks nice. So I'm going to take this big stump here and I'm going to cut it off at like bar table height, and then I'm actually going to put a bar table on top of the stump so that, you know, if you're just out here hanging out on the property and enjoying it, you can kind of stand next to the table and have a place to put your drink. And then let me see, here's one of my apple trees. Oh, there's another apple tree. These two trees here, you can see how sickly they look, because live oak trees do not look like this. They are full and beautiful and vibrant. So those two trees, I'm going to cut those stumps off at about 7 feet. I'm eventually going to span a 6x6 across the top of them and then hang a porch swing from that 6x6. And then I'm thinking about putting some trellising up the two sides of these big stumps and across the top, and then growing something pretty vining over it so that this becomes like an arched vined trellis that has a swing hanging in the middle of it. I think I've already talked to y'all a little bit about this area over here. That's an apricot tree. That's another apricot tree. So this is just a big tangled mess. That tree is 99% dead. I've got some other like hackberries and stuff that are growing up through it, and it's covered in unproductive muscadine grapes. I'm going to clean all of that out, and I'm going to grow passion vines along this entire fence. So I'll be able to harvest the passion fruit, but what I'm really after, to be honest with you, is that passion flower. Dry it up and make a tea out of it. Mix it with a little chamomile, and hopefully we can sleep a little bit better. And then, let me see. This pile here is what's left of that unproductive pear tree that I had to take down. But that guy right there, that dead tree just kind of sitting in the middle of everything, I'm going to cut that sucker out too. And when I form up if I end up having to form up a burn pile, if I can't get my hands on a wood chipper, then what I'll do is I'll put that burn pile right over top of the stump that's left, get all of this shrubbery that I'm cutting down burnt up to almost nothing. And the end result of that so far for me has been that you basically fricassee the stump enough that you can pull it right out of the ground. So that's some of the stuff that we're doing right now, just kind of cleaning stuff up and trying to make stuff look pretty. Like I said, it's that combination of functional and beautiful enough that people want to stop by. You know, I mean, that's another tree that's not very healthy and eventually is going to have to come down. And once I clean all of that stuff out, let me zoom in a little bit for you. Once I clean all of that out, I want to dig that area out and put a small pond in there. Because someday I want Rockin 8 Farm to have some little duckies running around. And it would be nice to have a little pond that they can go splash around in. So this is just an effort to get a little more content out to you guys. Tell you about some of my plans for the relatively near future. Because that's the beautiful thing about winter weather. Is you're not brooding chicks. You're not planting, you know, trees in the dead of winter. You're either getting them in the fall or you're getting them in the very early spring. So you kind of have what a lot of people consider some downtime, but for me, downtime means it's not 100 degrees out, so I can get the chainsaw out and really get some work done. So I'm hoping that I can come to you guys in a couple of months, 2 or 3 months, and I can show you everything that is standing in this video and show you that it's not standing anymore when I get done. So this is Chris with Rockin 8 Farm. Until I see you again, please be happy and live healthy.